The British love titles. They have kings and queens, princes and princesses, dukes and duchesses. Not all of their titles are based on heredity. We also have Sir Paul McCartney and Sir Elton John. When the United States became a country, we believe that all men are created equal. The one title we kept was Doctor. Historically, this title was given to someone who was able to teach. Consequently, if you were brilliant at research but could not teach, you did not deserve the title. On the other hand, you could teach someone how to bake pies. Evidently, you could be a doctor. I wish to convince you we need to give up the doctor title. Not only is there no consistent rationale for the title, there are reasons why it can produce unintended negative consequences. For starters, the title refers to different knowledge. Most people think of doctor as a physician, but there are also osteopaths, chiropractors, chiropodists, dentists, optometrists, and veterinarians. Second, everyone with a PhD from English literature to art history gets the title. You can be a doctor of divinity or a doctor of education. Lawyers receive the Juris Doctor, although they did not use the title. It can be especially confusing when someone in the health profession has a PhD. For example, a nutritionist, a pharmacist, or even a nurse can have a PhD. Is there a universal standard for the doctor title? Can a physician from Central Africa be a doctor in the United States? If a homeopath is a doctor in his country, should he be called a doctor in the United States? If you received your PhD from an online college, can you call yourself a doctor? Some of the brightest and most knowledgeable people in the world are Nobel Prize winners. Why don't they get a title? If you create a great invention, should you get a title? If you are a self-taught genius, perhaps you might convince a college to give you an honorary doctorate. Certainly a lot of effort is involved, anywhere from 3 to 7 years of study and internship beyond a bachelor's degree. Obviously, many other occupations require a lot of effort that do not bestow titles. For example, a certified public accountant has college plus the ability to pass 4 difficult and comprehensive exams. For unknown reasons, social workers usually terminate with a master's degree, where psychologists often get a PhD. Athletes, such as football players, require extreme effort to keep themselves in top physical condition. Is left tackle a title? Which is more arduous, going to college or being a single uneducated mother working 2 jobs to make ends meet? At least going to college is time limited, no telling when the single mother will be able to rest. First responders, such as policemen, firemen, and soldiers, save lives at their own risk. Some receive multiple injuries. They don't get a title. Let's deal with physicians. Do we want the best and the brightest? For medical research, definitely. For physicians, I don't think so. The typical day for a physician is hectic, but not rocket science. In the near future, computers will take over diagnosis, and once your genome is part of your medical record, the computer will be needed to match genomes with the best treatment. Surgery, however, can be a life or death matter. What qualities make a good surgeon? Good hand-eye coordination, fine motor skills, a steady hand, stamina for long operations, emotionally unflappable for emergencies. Are A students, the ones who get into medical school with high MCAT scores, the most likely to have these traits? I don't think so. In terms of patient satisfaction, a study in the Journal of Nurse Practitioners in 2013 gave nurse practitioners a 9.8 out of 10, while physicians only received a 7.2. A 2016 study by Medscape included, it is likely that nurse practitioners spend more time with each patient to provide more in-depth care, which in turn enhances quality, efficiency, and better outcomes. Regarding counselors, there is no data to indicate that PhDs perform better than persons with a master's degree. In fact, there are over 30 studies that say the best counselors are persons with less than a master's degree. It's all in my book, Counseling, a Profession or a Trade, available on Amazon. Education levels vary from less than high school, 2 years of college, 4-year degree, master's degree, PhD, and postdoctoral fellowships. Why don't people with master's degrees get a title? The military gives everyone a title so you know exactly where you fall. Let's begin with physicians. Do people want to be a physician because they love medicine or because they love the status? I found only one relevant study. This study showed that slightly less than half of medical school rejects ended up in the medical field. This study needs to be replicated, especially because the study did not break the numbers down by sex. I expect that men more than women like status. Have you ever heard the phrase alpha female? Do you know of any male physicians who are better looking than their wives? Here's a test you can do yourself. Ask your physician what he or she would do for a living if not a physician. I would be surprised if the word nurse ever came out of the mouth of a male physician. For someone who loves medicine, clearly nurse, nurse practitioner, and physician assistant are jobs that are most resemble that of a physician. It is also my belief that the only reason you can be accepted to medical school without first becoming a nurse is because nurses have historically been women. When it comes to counselors, I believe the doctor title is often sought after by people who believe they are wise. Consequently, they prefer to give advice, something graduate schools and counseling say should be used sparingly. Being able to become a doctor does not mean you should become one. Perhaps your child would prefer to be a high school teacher or a musician or an entrepreneur. Being a physician is a stressful job with long hours. The principal cause of death of physicians under the age of 35 is suicide. I have signed forms where if I do not give 24 hours of notice that I cannot make an appointment, I must pay a fee. So how much does a physician pay me if he or she cannot make the appointment? When was the last time you told your physician or anyone with a PhD, "I think you are wrong"? No one wants to offend someone with a title. I believe it is especially important that PhD counselors do not let their clients call them doctor. Counseling relies on complete honesty. I could get a PhD in my 20s and work as a bartender the rest of my life. Does it make sense that someone who's never worked in the profession of their degree can still have a title? "Doctor, would you get me 2 beers, please?" I have good reason to be against the doctor title. The years I spent getting my PhD at the University of Texas were some of the most enjoyable times of my life. I had a scholarship and was a teaching assistant, so I did not build up any debt. I had great teachers, including 2 former presidents of the American Psychological Association. I volunteered at a facility for the retarded and also at a drop-in center for talking down people high on LSD. I drove my Austin Healey 3000 through Zilker Park late at night. I went to the Rockies with the ski club and went to Mexico City with friends. I heard concerts from Willie Nelson, Simon & Garfunkel, and Doc Severinsen. Members of the UT Jazz Band helped me record a song about the astronauts, now on YouTube. Like most people with a PhD, I was able to get a good job. In summary, I need a title about as much as a rich singer or actor needs an award. Now, does anyone think a congressman should be referred to as honorable